What up, party people? I'm joined today by this crooked lamp, very Pisa style, and that's fine, and I'm not going to change it. So this topic is different and fun in its own way. I don't do a lot of editing on here, but we'll see if I can put the video up. But I'm going to talk about Quora and my personal experience with that website, because I hit a milestone recently, and this is not going to be a brag fest because I don't think it's a big bragging thing, but I have casually contributed to that website for 3 years now and just hit 100,000 views on there. So this is just my reflection of that experience. And again, if I can pop those numbers up, I see YouTube videos where they do that thing and then stuff pops up right there. I don't know how to do that. I know how to put something there for the whole video. I don't know how to make it just appear for a couple seconds, and that's a lot of work, and this channel is very low effort, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be in the thumbnail. That's easier. Anyway, as of today, I'm sitting on 102,000 views, 102,082 to be exact, over a couple of years, and that's something that I don't actively participate in daily. I'll go through seasons of doing it more frequently, or seasons of being a little bit more up to date on it, or answering more questions versus asking more. For me, asking questions gets more views than answering them, but I have more fun answering them. And so this is just a reflection of that time, and it might be mental health related, it might not, and I'm fine with that today, and you can tune out if it's not your cup of tea. But you know, I'll probably do one of these on YouTube after so long, after I hit a set number of videos and views and subscribers and stuff like that. I think doing these reflections are useful, and I'm a small channel, and I think having updates during smaller phases can be useful. I see a lot of channels that have, millions of subscribers and views, and they'll say, if I was starting my YouTube channel in 2024, this is what I would do, and this is how you should start. And I think some of that's valuable, some of it's clickbaity, some of it is hindsight being 2020. So it's nice, I think, to document stuff as I go a little bit. So the Quora one, 100,000 views. And what I like about Quora, and I put the link in every video, I encourage you who are watching to go spend time on Quora. It's weird. I think it's like Yahoo Answers, if you've got that memory still, in a lot of ways. And the website can be a little bit odd at times and a little bit unregulated, it feels like, but I don't know, it seems like they're still ironing some things out. But I like a lot of the discussion. I like the questions that people ask, and if you see me looking down a lot, I'm staring at my computer and the analytics for it. And I like that Quora keeps lifetime analytics. Instagram doesn't, at least it's hard to find, like looking at what's your lifetime views over all your posts. I think you can only look at a set amount of time, maybe up to 90 days, if that. So I don't really like their analytics side of things, at least from accessibility. Maybe there's a way to look at more. I don't know how to do that. But Quora, you can look at all of it, and the metrics are a little bit odd. So I said that I have 102,000 views. If you go in and you look at my page yourself, which is it's the link that I put in the videos. I think it's just my name. That can't be right, can it? Because, I'll look it up real quick. But anyway, if you go look me up, you will find that if you look at my actual views, it's going to give you a different number than what I see. So that's interesting to me. It doesn't give us the same input, which to me means there's just more going on with the data and what counts as a view, what doesn't, versus like an interaction or something like that. So I don't really know all that goes into that, but so be it. So the actual Quora link is, there it is, www.quora.com/profile/Ryan-Miller-1752. That's technically my link, so I would imagine that just typing Ryan Miller won't do it. So underneath this video or any of my other videos like this, You can just click my link. You can check it out. Give it a look. But I mostly have kept it all to mental health. There's been a couple questions that I've asked just for fun on a personal level, but they're mostly mental health, and most of the answers I've given on there are mental health related as well. And it's been a while since I've given an answer. And that's something that actually these YouTube videos originally, and I might still do this, were supposed to be. And I don't know if I'll get super in detail, but I wanted to do more with Quora and the YouTube channel. The editing was going to be a little bit past my, I was going to say pay grade. I don't pay myself for this. I lose doing this financially, but time spent. So, and maybe I'll do it. That's super, super normal for YouTube videos. Just to be clear, that's not me complaining, is you put a lot in for very little out for a lot of people, and I just choose not to do that right now with everything else with work and personal life for me. So, but I might at some point. I love going to Quora. It is a forum in some sense, so you're gonna get a lot of just garbage answers on there too. It's like Reddit in that sense, where it's a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about telling you what you should be doing with something. And there's also going to be a lot of really good advice and input and information. One thing that I like about Quora over Reddit is you can specify your career in there. It does not validate that, so you can just lie, if I remember right. But you know, you can see someone post and says that they've been a psychologist or a therapist for 30 years in this field, and they contribute this, la-di-da. So that's cool. And makes it a little bit more credible in that sense, although it's still banking on honesty. And you can look and check with people's like what consistency, like certain people have made a lot of contributions to certain types of questions, certain spaces. So I don't need to lecture on what Quora is, but my reflection here is that it's just interesting to think about those views, and I can't look at those in what's the word, usually I think, is it unique views, how many of them are different people. But with the way this site is set up, it's probably a lot of very unique views in general, and it's just interesting to reflect on people just taking the time to watch your stuff. It's weird. Same with these videos, and even these, I don't know, if you're watching this down the line, but if you're watching it today, I have 30 subscribers, and these videos get, they don't get a lot of views. What's my last week one at? Last week is at 7. Whoa. Lower. But they usually get less than 30. My best one right now, at the time of recording, I think is around 130. That sounds about right to me. Yeah, last week's 7, the one before 19, 17, 23, 34, 25, 28, 15. So, they're sitting in that probably 15 to 30-ish range, depending on the week. One from August 5th is 60. My one from July 29th has 133 views, which I think that is my best one that I have made, is 133 views. It is. I have another one that's done 116. And then I have one YouTube short that's got 57 views. So just to give you an idea there, 30 subscribers translated to that. If you consider, though, like an audience, it's actually pretty cool. I run meetings at work that sometimes have less people in them than the views I got last week was 7. And I think being able to reflect on just what that actually means. People see videos all the time, like, oh, thousands of views, millions of views, and they're like, oh, that's my goal. Fine. But it's also interesting for me to look at the fact that last week is actually notably low. But you think about the week before, even 19, that's a classroom size of people. Or the one that I have that has 133 views. That's a lecture hall, and that's crazy. And it's just me talking about whatever, really. That video was on solitude versus isolation. And the one that did 116 views was on the topic was do less better, do less things, and because you're doing less, do them better. You can do less better. So it's interesting that those are the two topics. So I anticipate because of this topic, it'll produce less views, but also because I'm talking about analytics, it might uptick because people get interested in that. So I don't know. It's just a fascinating thing. And now I'm talking about YouTube and Quora, which means the title of this video is going to have to change. But I just think it's a fascinating thing to pay attention to that. I love analytics. I've loved analytics since I was for sure in high school, when I like understood how that applied to numbers and things like that. It's just cool stuff. So reflecting though back to the Quora piece, to have 102,000 views is wild. It's absolutely wild. And I'm here in Kansas City. You know, that's bigger than the Sprint Center. That many people looking at something I've said. Now, the difference between Quora is you are just kind of scrolling. So it doesn't necessarily mean people wanted to read your answer. I mean, they did. But a video on YouTube you have to click on. So I think the videos on YouTube are worth more than views on Quora, just to be clear. But another interesting thing with the questions that you ask on Quora is people can answer them, and you can get engagement in your comments a lot quicker. So my comments on my questions on Quora is way more engaging than they are on YouTube, to the point where if I ask too many questions and I want to actually respond to people's answers, I have to limit the amount of questions I ask over a few week period, because it's just too much of my time responding to answers. And I try to do that intentionally. The YouTube channel hasn't really picked up. Everyone who comments are people I already know, and they're just having a little conversation with me and supporting my channel, which is fantastic. And I love it and I appreciate it. But I have those conversations with them in real life too. So I've yet to have engagement actually from anyone who I don't know. So if you want to be the first person to do that, today's your chance. So it's only been comments from people I know. So when it's not from people I know, like on Quora, I'm way more intentional, and I'm intentional with the people I know, but I'm talking with them on a daily basis too. But the Quora ones, people I don't know, I'm more intentional. I don't know their talking style. Sometimes they're rude, and sometimes they're really nice. Sometimes I can't understand what they're saying. I don't know if it's like an English translation issue, but it's hard to read what they're talking about. So that's an interesting thought as well, something to be aware of. So yeah, there's not a lot that I really want to elaborate on this. And again, it's not super mental health focused. If I were to tie it in, it would be around, I think, like ego and encouragement. It would take a lot for me to run any risk of ego on this. It's fun to have certain views and it's fun to have engagement. But at the end of the day, I do all this for me because I like it. And my hope is that people will benefit from that experience as well. These videos are for me first, and my hope is that they offer something back to people, and it's me trying to just offer what I have to other people and refine my thoughts about things for other people, which is why I do them as a recording. I can do this on my own, but I'm less likely to sit and talk if there's not a camera rolling. It adds an extra layer for me just to process out with these videos. And the same with the Quora questions. Sometimes I'm just curious when I ask a question on there. And other times when I'm answering questions, I will often go to questions that I feel like there's a voice missing. So people, maybe there's like 30 answers that are all about this one thing. And I'm like, no one's mentioning this. So I'll go mention that. Or someone asks a genuine question and people are all being bullies in the comments. And I don't like that at all. And so I'll go in and try and protect that person with my answer, or offer some insight, or just be more polite. And I try to do that in any of the forums that I participate in, is just try to counterbalance people being just complete jerks, which is way too abundant. I mean, it's one thing to have an opinion, but people ask a question and then people will respond with like, no, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing that, you should. That's a dumb question. And they're just like, that's not what the person wanted. And they're often gaslighting or just being abusive in the comments. And it's super common. If you spend any time on the internet, you know that. and hopefully you're not part of that problem, but statistically, maybe you are if you're doing comments. I don't think the majority of people using the internet are like that, but a lot of people doing comments. I'd actually be curious. I'm sure there's some study on that, but like what percentage of comment sections are encouraging, or rather positive, neutral, or negative. That'd be super interesting. I know there's been for sure studies on reviews, when people write reviews about things. Those are interesting to look at, but I'd be curious for general comments. There's a lot of encouraging ones, but it's also hard when engagement is what sells and negativity spurs engagement. Positivity can as well, but negativity does it easier. So that's what gets pushed a lot. So anyway, use Quora, use YouTube, use these sites, contribute to a solution. And when I say that, that doesn't mean rudely say what you think is the solution. That means have a conversation with people when you disagree or when you think they're doing something wrong, and say it in a way that you're trying to encourage them towards healthy outcomes, not beat them into submission. You're trying to have a relationship with them so that they will see your point of view. You're not trying to ostracize them and be a bully. And again, I know these aren't viewed by a lot of people, so I can't really say there's some of you that fit this, because there might not be. But don't assume you're on the good person side of those comments. You might not be. Reflect on what you're saying and how you're saying it. And reflect on how it's landing. So that's what I got today. Go check out the Quora page. It's fun. Go look at my page. Go see the conversations I'm having. Prompt me to ask questions. Comment under them. Engage. If you're someone that I don't know and you've chosen to watch these, I'm grateful for that. I'm very grateful for people who I do know that watch these too. It's different when it's someone I don't know. And if you're someone I don't know, comment and say hi. Be the first person to do it, and we'll get a conversation going. So yeah, that's this week's topic. If you're interested in any type of therapy service, reach out to me in the links in the description, and we'll chat. We'll get you connected with me or elsewhere. Or if you just have any therapy inquiries or any questions about training, consulting, or general therapy conversation, reach out. Other than that, happy Monday. See y'all later.